What's up, buddies? Today I'm gonna tell y'all about the first 2 episodes of this gut-wrenching medical drama called The Good Doctor. Sean Murphy packs his stuff and heads to the airport. On the way, he stops by a football field, memories flashing back to his childhood. Him lying on the grass, getting kicked by his classmates while his bro fiercely defends him. Sean flies out to San Jose, where he scored a surgical resident gig. It's his chance to start fresh and prove himself. The plane's landing, Sean standing in the waiting area, wondering where to go next. At one point, workers changing the advertising screen drop it, and it falls on the glass counter near where a teenager's standing. Panic starts in the hall. The guy passes out and falls. But luckily, a man rushes over, says he's a doc, pinches the bleeding vein in the kid's neck so they can wait for the ambulance. But Sean gets involved in this situation. He's correcting the doc, saying the anatomy of a grown-up and a kid's way different, and what the doc's doing would have saved the boy if he was older. But considering the kid's age, that method will kill him because he can't breathe. The doc clamps the vein a little higher up like Sean told him to, and the guy takes a deep breath. There's an emergency meeting at the hospital called by Marcus, the head of surgery. That's the department Sean's heading to work at, but Marcus is dead against it. He found out that the young doc has autism, but that doesn't affect the dude's mental abilities at all. And he's proven his skills more than once already. Marcus doesn't want him working together with them, but Glasson tells him that he's known the kid since he was 14 and is sure he's not just good, but a genuinely brilliant surgeon. They keep working on saving the injured guy in the waiting room. Sean's like scanning him with his eyes and sees from the subtle signs that others can't see that things are going downhill. So he needs to take urgent action to stabilize the guy's breathing. Sean heads toward the X-ray scanner gates. The doc asks the security dudes to lend a hand, but of course they say nah. With his condition, he can't explain clearly why he needs something sharp. Sean grabs a tiny knife from the confiscated items box and rushes to the injured guy, but the guards catch up and tackle him to the floor. Even now, the young guy can't explain himself, but the boy's mom comes to his rescue. Sean puts together a makeshift artificial valve from a plastic tube and a whiskey bottle from a souvenir shop, makes an incision in the dude's lung area, and gets his breathing going. The doctor watching what the young dude is doing is amazed. The head doc at the hospital is trying to reach out to Sean. Meanwhile, he's riding in the ambulance with the wounded kid. The patients are taken just to the St. Bonaventure Hospital, where they are waiting for Sean to work. The young doctor watches how the boy's parents support each other, holding hands, and again remembers his childhood. How his father shouted at him and beat him for not being like everyone else, and his mother and brother tried to protect him. The boy's changed cardiogram brings him back from his memories, and he is sure that something is wrong. But the emergency doctor believes that nothing terrible is happening, and does not want to listen to the strange young man in the hospital. At the same time, they're operating on a patient to save the guy, sending Dr. Brown. She gives one order when Sean comes running up to her and insists on the need for an echocardiogram. The doc ain't listening to that weird dude and not paying any attention to him. She heads to the ICU for the patient while he tries to push his way in after her, but the guards kick him out onto the street from the ICU. Everyone's in awe of the homemade valve, but the docs have no plans to do an echocardiogram. Meanwhile, Sean's looking for a way to get inside the clinic. Another meeting in the head doc's office, where Marcus is going off about how Dr. Sean Murphy can't be working with patients, having that kind of diagnosis. Plus, the new doc didn't even show up for the interview while there's a life-saving surgery going on in the ER. And at some point, the kid's pulse starts changing, blood pressure dropping, and the docs realize they gotta do an echocardiogram. Just like that weird dude said, Dr. Brown and her assistant Melendez go looking for Sean to get that procedure done. They're asking the dude why he thinks it was necessary to do an echocardiogram. But then a call comes through. The analysis showed everything was normal, so Dr. Melendez was ready to bounce, thinking he wasted his time on a weirdo. But Dr. Brown took Sean with her to the ward. The doc gave the go-ahead to show Sean the echo monitor through the glass. The kid noticed some abnormalities that others missed in the doc's office. Meanwhile, the board was voting against having an autistic doc at the clinic. But then the secretary burst in and told everyone to check out this viral video of Sean giving first aid to some guy at the airport. Watching the op through the glass, Sean flashed back to when he and his bro bounced from their dad, that tyrant. His bro gifted him a plastic scalpel, Even back then, the young dude dreamed of becoming a surgeon. Sean carefully took out that same scalpel from his pocket and patted himself on the head. Like when you patted him, bro. When the doc crew operates on the kid, they find a shard that was actually messing with his heart rhythm. Doc takes Sean to the cafeteria and leaves the guy there for lunch while he goes to have a talk with the medical team to figure out if they hire wives to work at the hospital. No one wants to take on the responsibility of hiring someone with autism. Sean's just chilling at the cafeteria, waiting on that glass dude like he was told to. Dr. Brown slides up to his table, trying to make small talk with the kid, but she's not doing too hot. Anyways, the main doc comes to grab the dude for an interview with the council. They're bringing up the issue again at the council meeting, and Marcus is like, "What's this all about?" Dude's clueless. I mean, the decision was already made that Sean Murphy can't work at the hospital, you know? The young doc is just sitting there calmly, listening to the other docs talk about him like he ain't even in the room. At some point, they finally let him speak up, and Sean starts reminiscing about his childhood. He's all like, "I want to be a surgeon, because when I was a kid, my pet rabbit got killed after my dad hit it hard. And not long after, my bro, who was my best friend, died too. The boy fell off an old train wagon. When he and Sean and the other dudes were climbing around the old town depot, Doc Murphy was talking about how he wants to give other folks a shot at life that he couldn't give to his own loved ones back then. The council decides that Sean Murphy's going to work as a surgeon at St. Bonaventure Hospital. They send Sean straight to the ER where an operation's going down. The surgeon, Dr. Melendez, who's doing the op, tells Sean he ain't got no place on the team, and since he's been assigned to him anyway, he'll only be responsible for the pump. The night before his first official workday, he just couldn't fall asleep, man. Melinda and the boys head to the patient's room after his surgery down there, trying to cheer the dude up. But then Murphy busts in, all clued up on the patient's file, and lays out all the grim possibilities that could go down from the op. No sugarcoating. Melinda gets onto the guys for being late as hell. He's clearly pissed at how useless these doctors are. They move to the next room where a lady's in crazy pain. The MRI shows that the woman has a tumor in her abdomen, and the docs are discussing possible options. Sean straight up says it's a cancerous tumor killing the patient. His colleagues ask the dude to not be so blunt, but he doesn't get why they're coming at him. Still, the doctors decide to operate on the woman. Sean's been dumping all the dirty work in the ward on Murph, and he's happily taking it on. They want to get some experience and become one of the best doctors out there. Yo, this dude's checking out a little girl who just came in with some stomach pains. While her parents are talking about how the kid's probably faking it to skip class, Sean orders some tests for her. But then this nurse supervisor walks in and tells Sean he can't just order a full workup for everyone with a tummy ache. He's also introducing this nurse to the coordinator and making her the boss lady. From now on, Murphy can only order tests and procedures with her say-so. There's this chick with a tumor in her belly. Murphy ain't allowed in the OR, so he keeps checking out patients while a nurse keeps an eye on him. He's trying to follow her instructions and not order any unnecessary tests. But just like when he was a kid, he can't lie for shit. The surgery to remove the tumor turns out to be way trickier than the docs thought it'd be. Dr. Melendez invites Sean into the operating room. Sean gets all hyped up, ready to scrub in. But Lim stops him and tells him to run down to the lab instead. The biopsy results show that the tumor's hella dangerous. There's no way to operate on it. All they can do is stitch her up and wake her to let her know she's only got a few months left to live. But the buzz is giving the docs an idea on how they might be able to save her. Melendez agrees to try Sean's risky plan, not knowing it was one of the patients Sean sent home because of that ban on extra tests who went to the chief to get it approved after trying to tell Murphy he needs to chill his patients out. This young doc's a woman, ain't she? I'm sure he messed up by listening to the instructions and took the risk of sending this little girl with a sick tummy to get her labs done. The test came back with some minor issues, but dude took a cab at midnight to the girl's family's place. The parents weren't too happy with the visit, but the doc insisted on checking her out, found her passed out in her room, and rushed her to the hospital. Murphy did CPR on the kid, but the girl kept getting worse. In the hospital, Sean's doing an ultrasound on this lady patient and sees she needs surgery like ASAP. Despite the nurse's objections, he decides to operate without the senior doc's okay. But as soon as everything's ready, Melinda walks into the OR, not only taking over the surgery but also telling Sean that another doc's idea is what saved the patient with the tumor. Melinda kicks the young doc out, but Marcus comes to his defense. Probably because he wants Sean to mess up and leave the clinic with Bashir. Sean's watching the girl's parents from afar, the kid he saved. Feeling shy, he walks into the room where the grateful parents are waiting for him. That night, Sean Murphy caught some Z's, clutching his plastic scalpel tight. Yo guys, what did you think of this show? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. It means a lot.